Welcome to a special edition of Actimize, Uncut. Today we're speaking with Julie Conroy, Research Director from Aite Group. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be talking about robotic process automation with you. A recent study conducted by NICE Actimize indicated that financial institutions are looking to cut operational costs. What do you think are the top 3 reasons that FI should be turning to purpose-built robotic process automation tools to strengthen their financial crime fighting platforms?
So those study results are very consistent with what we're seeing in our conversation with financial crime executives. RPA represents the ability to hit a bunch of pain points for operations. You can address the pressure to bring down operational costs by bringing in the robots to get rid of some of the manual tasks. You can create a more engaged analyst team by getting rid of some of the boring stuff that they really don't want to do in the first place. And you also are creating efficiency in a way that is very easily defendable as you're talking to your regulators.
That's interesting. And what are some of the best use cases for automation with AML, and how does it make a difference?
So the good news is with AML, you do have a lot of repetitive manual tasks. So there's lots of low-hanging fruit. I would say the area I see people spending the most time with right now is CDD. Because you think about the CDD process, and especially as you're looking at a business or a high net worth individual, there's a whole bunch of data sources that you have to go to compile that risk rating. And as you look at operations where they don't necessarily have RPA in place today, you see these analysts that are sitting in front of 2 and 3 monitors with 10 applications pulled up as they pull in all this data. So that's a great use case for RPA.
Okay. And how about use cases for fraud?
So as you look at fraud, you have the cousin to CDD is identity verification. Some similar pain points there as you look at disparate data sources, especially if you have to do some manual review or manual checking. And then another great use case for fraud is bringing the feedback as you status things as known fraud into your models so that they can then self-tune.
And so what are the key considerations for developing an ROI around an RPA effort?
So as you look at your ROI, and again, it goes back to OpEx and what is going to be your opportunity, not just to redeploy existing analyst staff, but looking out, you look at the fact that payments volumes are growing 12% year over year. You can look at future staffing and probably pare some of that back. One of the big considerations, though, as you're putting together that business case is making sure you have the time and resources allocated to an effective process mapping exercise, because you want to make sure that you're not inadvertently automating errors into your process, which just creates a mess for everybody downstream.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Thank you. And what do you think the objections and pushback can be from the purchaser expecting from the organization?
So I would say the number one that I hear as I talk to executives is just concern about jobs going away and concern among existing analyst staff that the robots are going to come and take their jobs. And so a clear messaging about how this effort is not about job reduction, but it's actually about taking away those manual, repetitive drudge work tasks that nobody likes to do in the first place. There's one executive that I spoke with that said that they did an internal analysis and they estimate that their AML team is spending 80% of their time just doing data gathering and 20% of their time doing actual analysis work. They're looking to use RPA to flip that.
Interesting. And what do you think the biggest myth is when it comes to the adoption of robotic process automation?
So just like everything in financial crimes, it's not a silver bullet. Silver bullets don't exist. So it needs to be looked at as one good tool in the arsenal to bring efficiency, to help leverage your human capital resources much better, and also to do so in a way that regulators are on board with.
It's been an interesting conversation. So we'll sum this up. What are the financial institutions today when it comes to adoption of robotic process automation and new platforms, and what do you see for the future?
So I think we're in early stages right now. Aite Group recently hosted a financial crime forum, and that session on RPA that we had there was pretty much standing room only, because there were so many bankers looking to learn from their peers. The 2 bankers that we had up on stage had a year of experience under their belts, But both of them acknowledged that there was still a lot of opportunity still in just financial crimes, let alone other applications within their FI.
And thank you, Julie, for these interesting insights today. And for more information on NICE Actimize and Automation in Action, please email us at info@niceactimize.com.